I hope you can see me. It's kind of a dark, rainy day today. But man, I love the conversation that's going on the Living with MD. I really don't know how to say this. But again, keep in mind this is my perspective, my opinion, my understanding, what I've been reading. Forgive me, I'm not going to remember everybody's name right now because I closed off the browser. So the first girl that was complaining about Match.com, I really can't comment much because A, I'm married, and B, when I was dating, there was no such thing as the internet dating, so I had to do it face to face. Well, actually, no, I used the CB radio. At least that way I could hear the voice of the person. And to me, the voice was always the one that caught me. If I liked the way they sounded, I would meet them. And so I really don't have much to say to her. However, all that then spewed into accessibility and disabled versus handicapped. I grew up with the word handicap. I also grew up with the word crippled. Personally, I can give or take it, doesn't bother me, because I don't let words hurt me. Well, certain words anyway. There are words that will cut you to the bone, and I'm tongue-tied today. That will cut you to the bone, so I try not to say those words. However, when it comes to I do remember Lori, because that was the last thing I read, about not wanting to be labeled because her name is Lori. I am Lori. Well, I'm Angie. I think that's cool. Sorry, my thumb doesn't go up all the way. But yeah, half-mast, yay! So it's interesting. When I see stuff like that, that's why I started my business. I've been fed up with a whole bunch of stupid things. You know, people think they know what the word accessibility and accessible is, when not, they don't. Because they're all able-bodied or vertical people who have no clue what accessible and accessibility means. They do their best. I mean, I'm sure most of them are sincere. They may research and get some basic facts. And nobody's ever going to get anything picture perfect because our disabilities do vary. But my business was brought up just to try and educate. There's another word, educate, so that, they can't claim ignorance. And what I'm trying to teach them is simply not necessarily right and wrong, but it's kind of like, okay, knowing what the law is up in our country, in my country, not mine, but it is Canada. Knowing what the law is like up here, I want their interpretation of accessibility criteria and policies to be a little more focused and clear by giving them more examples to go by. Because even our poor government doesn't always get it. Because again, they're not rolling around in our chairs. And they're not deaf, they're not blind. They have their mental capacities about them. So how are they going to know? I mean, they can do an educated guess, but it's not going to be picture perfect. And that's where I step in. And I don't like ranting and roaring and pointing fingers and being bitchy. Although sometimes I feel like it. But I try and do it more in a ladylike way. If I really am. But that's me.